Hello, welcome to Matter of Fact. I'm Fernando Espuelas. The balloons have dropped at the Republican convention, and Democrats will soon be crowning their own nominee later this week in Philadelphia. While some may think that the conventions are canned shows with little substance, these gatherings are critically important to the candidates and their chance to win November's election. Will they be able to unify their respective parties and entice independent voters? Here to explore this critical moment for both parties is the Washington Post politics editor, Rebecca Cinderbrand. She joins me now from Cleveland. Rebecca, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Let's talk conventions. First, the convention that just ended, the Republican convention. I guess one of the biggest surprises was Ted Cruz's speech, the non-endorsement of Donald Trump. What's behind that? What's going on? What's the feeling there?
Well, first of all, the important thing about this week has been, conventions are supposed to give a message of what the party is, what the party represents, what the candidate wants his image to be. And there's definitely been a message sent this week. It may not be exactly the message that the Republican Party had hoped to send. A lot of divisions that they'd hoped were behind them very much on display this week. And one of those, of course, was Ted Cruz. Him speaking at the convention was supposed to be a symbol of healing, symbol of coming together after a rough and tumble primary season, and instead it's left absolutely the opposite impression.
And is it fair to say that he was giving a speech for his 2020 candidacy as opposed to a speech supporting his party's nominee?
You have to look at what he did the whole day before the speech. Essentially, he gave what was really a campaign rally where you had supporters chanting 2020. Donald Trump's plane flew overhead and it was booed. And so there was very much a campaign atmosphere. It could have been April of this year all over again. And that feeling continued into his speech that evening. He was very carefully speaking. And while Donald Trump knew that he was not going to get an endorsement, it hadn't been discussed according to Cruz aides. Cruz had given him a copy of his speech only a few hours beforehand, but he'd seen that there was no endorsement in there. The Trump supporters who were in the arena did not know that. And so as the speech went on, they grew more and more unhappy with what they weren't hearing.
Now, I know conventions are judged relative to each other, so we haven't had the Democratic convention, but what would be your overall impression of the Republican convention? Has it been successful? I know there were many issues, but has it been successful?
I mean, at this point, I think it's very tough to say that it has. It's been successful in the sense that you do have the feeling that the establishment of the party, at least, has coalesced around Donald Trump. The other side of this, and the other way that this convention was going to be judged in a different way than other conventions are judged, is it was one of the first big events that we've seen the Trump campaign put on. It was very much a test because there's been questions about their ability to kind of coordinate and organize and kind of get their act together. And there have been a number of missteps this week that have kind of left those questions a little bit hanging, even as the convention ended.
And now, Rebecca, looking forward, the Democrats gathering in Philadelphia, are there expectations that they'll do better? Is there a bigger test they have to do well on, or in some way has this become sort of a low bar?
I mean, the Democrats are certainly hoping they do better. I mean, one of the big differences, of course, is that Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton's chief rival, unlike Ted Cruz, has endorsed Hillary Clinton. So, unlike in the Republican Party, where you have the top primary season challenger is still holding back, not offering his full support, Bernie Sanders, it was a long, slow road, but he got there, and he said that he supports Hillary Clinton for president. He's going to be speaking at the convention as well. You can be sure that Hillary Clinton's campaign will want to see a copy of that speech well before 2 hours earlier, which is when the Trump campaign apparently got a copy of Ted Cruz's speech. So we'll have to wait and see.
Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your insights today.